Welcome in, everybody. Hope you're having a great day so far. So I'm excited about this live because it's more oriented for existing real estate photo business owners who are working to scale their business. But I know that many of you are just starting out. And so I think it can bring you value too and kind of show you what it looks like to actually scale your business and maybe kind of reset your horizons on what's possible. Because I've talked about this a lot. When I first started my business, I thought $4,000 a month was a huge month. And it's a good month. It's awesome. You should shoot for that, right? But there's scaled businesses in our industries, in our coaching team. We do hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars a month with among our coaches. And one of the specific businesses, Todd, who's been on here before, does many shoots per year, 12,000 plus shoots per year. Norman Young will do probably around 3,500 or 4,000 shoots this year. So this is experience that's been hard fought to get. We made a lot of mistakes along the way. And so this roadmap, I think, will be cool to show you kind of what to expect as you scale your business and what you should do in what order. So I got a fancy Google Doc. And by that, I mean, it's not that fancy. It's just laid out exactly what it looks like and really who to hire at what level. So before we jump into that though, share where you are at real estate media company wise, how many shoots you do, how much revenue you do, whatever you want to share. Let me know. I would imagine this video is going to be probably further ahead than a lot of you are. But like I said, it's a cool way to kind of future pace yourself and look at what's going to come as you scale your business. So also, thanks to Kenny for joining me as always and setting this whole thing up. I just show up and the plan is here. So that's what we're going to be going over today. Got Aaron on the team in the chat, Aaron Polakaitis. I definitely took me a second to learn how to pronounce your last name, by the way, Aaron.
I barely just got it this week, actually. I used to think Galifianakis or something like that.
Week 1 of rep and 5 shoots so far. Nate, let's go. Congrats. That's awesome. New meeting tomorrow morning. Welcome in. Anyway, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to jump into the Google Doc. And again, I know this is probably a little bit further ahead than you are, but I think it's really cool to know where you can go. So this is our roadmap and what we work on with our forward level people. Forward technically doesn't start, it starts below 8K a month. You can be lower than that and be in that program. But the program has people up to, I think our biggest in the program right now does 70 or 80 grand a month. So super exciting. Here's where we're at. So as you scale your business, there just is a right order to do things and there's a time that makes the most sense. And so I'm going to talk through what some of these positions could look like for your business and what you'll see. So we recommend being a completely solo operator until 8 or 10K per month. And at this level, typically the first hire you're going to bring in is an executive assistant VA. So this would be a virtual assistant, someone to help you with emails, texts, photo delivery, general tasks. They could do the Instagram method and that kind of thing. And it's pretty affordable because most VAs are based in lower cost of living countries. And that's where the arbitrage comes in. And that's why that industry exists. So first person you generally bring in would be an executive assistant that's going to help you with those tasks. The next level would be hiring your first photographer. And so that happens typically somewhere between $15,000 and $20,000 per month. Below 15K, we do not recommend doing that because your business isn't efficient enough if you can't get there without a photographer. So we use the 15K as kind of like a trial period where you have to push yourself to see how you can do 15K before you hire. And then we have a 20K top range because there is such a thing as waiting too long to hire. A lot of people will get to 15K, get to 18K. They're like, I can still do more myself. And so they do more themselves, but it becomes a lot harder to hire when you're doing 22K and you can't even see straight because you're so busy. And so you rush it and that's generally not good. And so that's what that first, real hire would be. That's a W-2 employee here in the US, your first photographer. Typically, you're going to have photographers be able to do about 10K a month in revenue for your business. So where you're able to get to like 15K, your photographer is not going to be able to work as many hours as you. They're not going to be as efficient as you. And so generally you bring in another photographer, they'll be able to do an additional 10K. And then you just keep repeating this. You get yourself out of being a photographer. So you hire one photographer, 2, 3, 4, and then you don't hire another type of employee. You just keep duplicating what you already have until you get to the 50 or 75K per month mark. And that's when you hire an admin. So until that point, it's a better idea for you to be your own admin. And that's because, and a lot of people mess up the order on this, is they'll become fully booked as a photographer. I'll pull this back up in a second. They'll become fully booked as a photographer themselves. And they're like, man, I want to keep doing the photography because I'm good at that. I just want to hire someone to do the calls for me, to answer emails. I see what you're saying there. The problem is when you do that, there's a time very quickly in your business where you're not in the transaction at all. So like they call and they get your admin and they get another photographer and you're cut out, which ultimately is the goal if you want to scale your business and have a business like mine that has a team that runs it for me. But you don't want to do that too soon. And so that's why we recommend being your own admin. That's a very high value task in your business. And then as you scale to 75 or 90K per month, that's when you're going to bring in a trainer, photographer. So you typically promote one of your existing photographers that you really like, and they're going to help train your staff, because 75 to 90K, you probably have anywhere from like 5 at the minimum to maybe 8 photographers at the highest. And that's what that looks like. So that's cool. And then 125K, 100 to 125K per month, you may want a second admin. That's when the admin work can get a little wild. And then lastly, around 150K per month, you're going to bring in an operations manager, potentially a sales team or salesperson. And so that's what the growth path looks like. There's obviously a lot of nuance to each of those things, but that's generally what we help people through that are on that larger side when they start to scale their business. And I think one thing that we've seen is, I know it may sound like crazy. If you can't even do like 3K a month right now, it may sound crazy to even think about having 150K per month business. And it's a lot of work, but there are businesses that have scaled to that in our industry. That's not crazy. It's just a matter of, continuing the progress. And I will say the startup phase is equally as hard as getting to the next level. And so, generally going from 0 to 10K a month takes as much work as going from 10 to 40 in terms of just hard new things. So it's like exponentially that you can grow if you do things right. And I think that's cool. So that is kind of our outline for growth at those higher levels. And I know if you're just starting, you would be like, that's huge. I can't even comprehend that. And that's okay. You don't need to comprehend that from day one. So anybody have any questions about that? Anything like that? And we'll jump into the chat. I know the chat portion is probably gonna have a lot of newer people, which is cool. So let's see. Christopher said 2K already, and it's May 9th. Have another 1K booked for next week. Congrats, Christopher. That's awesome. Rod on our team is asking when the Edwin case study is releasing. That's a good question, Kenny. When is it?
Next week.
Nice. Okay. We have some students here, have some coming up game plan calls, Mohammed and Alexis. Oh, nice. If you guys have any questions, make sure to ask them in here. Glad to have you in here. Dave said I'm making your head hurt. Yeah. One of the things that with scaling your business is this doesn't happen overnight, right? Like the people who build these, like Norman & Young has been in business for 11 years. It wasn't called Norman & Young the first few, but I was a real estate photographer, right? And so you definitely don't want to compare your 3rd year in business to someone's 20th year, or I think is it Todd's 21st year? No, I think this is his 20th year. One of our coaches who leads a guest call on our in our coaching program. So the thing with many of these people that grow their businesses successfully is they just have the time element, right? They took that first step and they put in the work. There's a Gary Vee quote that I love, which is macro patience, like patience for the big picture things, and micro speed, meaning you put in the work every day. And that's what it takes. So I totally understand that, like getting your first shoot when you're first starting feels like such a big hurdle to climb. And it is, you have to learn a lot, right? Building a business, like the people who tell you building a business is easy and takes no work are the people trying to scam you. You know what I mean? Like it actually takes work. It takes effort to build a business. And I love that because those are the people that I want to be around. Those are the people we have, in coaching, people that are willing to put in the work and just do what it takes. And so, if you're deciding, hey, I want to start my business, make sure you're ready to do the work, because that's what it takes, right? If you already have a business, you know what that means. And the cool thing is the thing that it takes to get your business to the next level is just putting in more work and effort and just making progress. And so, it's a fun adventure building a business. And I like generally service businesses as a good first business. Real estate photography is a service business because it's not like you have to go invest in, you don't have to buy a building and rent something and like test it. It's like, when someone starts a restaurant business, like the failure rates are so high, right? Because you don't know if people are going to want to eat your food. And that's why like a service business, real estate photography, lawn care, like all those businesses are just like pretty set businesses where it's going to work. It's just up to you to work it. I think that's cool. So anyway, what questions do you have? Drop them in the chat. Smug Potato Gaming said, step 1, do it even though you're nervous. That is 100% true.
I think he was asking or answering somebody's question about like, how do you start to get out there? This question here.
Yeah, I mean, you first make a decision. How do you start out to get out there and get hired? Yeah, I mean, you make a decision to start, you learn how to shoot real estate photos. So I'll take you through the process that we do with coaching clients because it's representative of what I believe is the best path. So step 1, as fast as possible, learn how to shoot photos, videos, 3D tours, and make floor plans, that kind of stuff. It's not that hard, right? You just have to have all the pieces in place and Once you learn that, then the next step is you got to get people to know who you are. And so that's where the Instagram method comes in. And that's the next step we teach, is using the Instagram method to grow your business. And that's basically just DMing agents on Instagram in a very specific way, offering a free first shoot. And the nuance in there is what we teach. And that's how we help people get results and grow their business, people that put in the work. So that's like generally what you need to do. You don't want to start reaching out until you know that your product is good enough. Your photos, videos, 3D tours, because the whole point and the whole reason we give out a free first shoot is because we're confident that the product is good, and therefore clients will like it. But if your product's bad and you give it away, it's not going to help your business. Let's see. If you're trying to make upwards of 10K a month, how many shoots does it typically take? Yeah, so it depends on your average order value a little bit. I'll just do some math for you to show you. So typical average order value with an optimized business, so where you want to be, it's around $250 per shoot. So if I take 10K divided by 250, it's about 40 shoots per month. But keep in mind, that's going to be gross revenue. So that's 10K revenue, but you're going to have expenses typically around 20% as a solo. So we're going to need to do 20% more than 10K. So I'll put a 12K number divided by $250.
Oh no, he froze at the
worst
time.
Am I back?
You're back. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I was like, you were still good, but I was talking and it froze. So where was I at?
20% more.
Okay, yeah. So if you want to net 10K, you got to be careful in business, because the money that you make, quote unquote, in revenue is not your take home. You have to take out expenses, right? So 20% would be a reasonable profit margin for a solo operator, or reasonable expenses. You're gonna have an 80% margin typically. So okay, 12,000 divided by a $250 average order value, 48 shoots. And then 22 business days in the month. Now, obviously, there's no law that says you can't shoot on the weekends, right? But most people don't want to work 7 days a week. So if you're first starting, you can absolutely shoot on the weekends if you're working during the weekday with your job. But otherwise, it's 22 business days per month. So that would be 2.18 shoots per day average. And what you'll see is that a fully maxed out real estate photographer will do somewhere between like 15K and 25K. Within like the normal range. Like there's some crazy stories of people with really high average order values that will do more, but that's generally where you cap out and you have to hire a photographer. It's between 15 and 22, 23, 24K. What's like what you see typically, Kenny, where people feel like they're really busy? It's like around 12 to 15, I would say.
12 to 15 is about generally if you're a beast like Warren, he's like 22K and he's like, yeah, I think I could continue managing. I'm like, no, you gotta hire, dude. You gotta hire. Which we are working on, but yeah, 12 to 15K around.
Let's see. Let me find some questions in here. I do not recommend daily content to promote yourself on Instagram. We don't use Instagram as like talk about that a little bit, Kenny, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest mistakes I see often is basically you think that you want to grow organically and that people are going to find your photos and be like, I want to hire this person immediately, when in reality, you have to do the reaching out. And so we recommend doing the first time post perfectly, and we show that in coaching. We've showed I think we've done a live, yes.
We did a profile review, yeah.
Where we show like what your Instagram should look like. After that, I recommend just leaving it alone, never posting ever again until you get like a certain amount of clients, and then you can just play with it. But for the most part, you want to just post on your story. People want to connect with you in the sense of like, I don't know, maybe you have a favorite restaurant, you like going hiking, going to the beach, whatever it may be. And that's how agents are going to be like, oh, I like that too. Let me reach out to you. And then you can start a conversation that way. But yeah, for the most part, you don't ever want to continue promoting.
You're using it as an outbound tool.
Yes.
Not an inbound. You're not waiting. You're not like making this page that's going to attract agents. You're making a page that's like your 24/7 virtual salesperson, and then you're going to reach out to them. I need to get darker blinds. This time of day, the sun is like blasting. Just in one eye though. All right, let's see. When you start and get that first free shoot, how do you go about marketing the future services you want to provide if you don't currently have the setup to do it? So you mean if you only can offer photos for now? I mean, I would just say floor plan you can offer right now because it's really easy to make in your phone. Drone, you have to get your drone license. So I guess let me know what you're thinking with that question, Chris. Are you just like saying you can't offer that now gear-wise, or like what's holding you back on that? Oh yeah, stories is a good idea for sure.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like, and don't make yourself sound like you have a big business. A lot of people like go on camera, they're like, hey everyone, I'm Kenny from Norman and Young. Thank you so much for watching my story. I don't know, like they sound so dumb like that. You just gotta be like, hey, what's up? It's Kenny. I'm just just going on a walk with my
real estate photographer.
Yes. Warren McCarthy, if you follow him at McCarthy Media Co. He has a bunch of stories, like great stories. He like takes selfies with agents. He'll take selfies with his girlfriend, doing whatever he wants to do. And so like agents have started to love him because of that. Like he has a great relationship with his clients because he just shows himself on camera a ton.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. Like in order to get clients to book you, it's not magic, right? So what are we trying to do? Where it's not some complicated formula that just like, it's like we want to build relationships with it. And so we say, okay, how do we build relationships? Well, you build relationships by getting people to know you, like you, and trust you. That's the common phrase said in marketing sales all the time. Know you, like you, and trust you, right? And so that is what the Instagram method reverse engineers. They have to start to know you, then they'll start to like you, then they'll start to trust you. And so just think about it that way. It's like, how can I get more agents to know who I am, like me, and want to do business with me? Well, you do the things that would create that in them, right? So they first have to know you. You make your Instagram, you reach out to them. Then they start to like you because you post relatable content in your story that shows you're a real human. You're not, hi, I own big business, give me business, right? You're like, you introduce yourself, you talk about how you're new, you talk about how you're passionate about this industry. You really, just so excited to be doing this and like can't believe this is something you can make your full-time thing eventually. Like you show that humility in who you are and they start to like you, right? And they trust you when you do work for them and you meet their expectations over and over, and then they keep using you, which is super cool. Let's see. What's up, Brad? Brad on our coaching team is in here. One of our forward coaches, so he coaches our more advanced students. Let's see. Scroll down here. To start, should I have the 107 drone license or can I start with my camera? Yeah, so you don't have to have your license to start, but you can't fly drones commercially until you do. So if you can only offer photos for now, that's totally fine. We always start with what you have. And so if you only can offer photos, that's going to be your offer for now. And then, especially if you're in a financial place where you don't want to spend the money to get the drone test of the drone, well, then get paying clients with just the camera and then use the paying clients to pay for your drone in the future. But typically you want to start with everything if you can. Start with everything is relative. Just get it done, quickly as you can. I have a good 9 block on Instagram, but realtors keep asking for examples of my work and I don't have a website. How do I work around that? So we use Spiro for our client management system, and that's what all of our coaching clients use. And we have them create what's called a Spiro property website portfolio. So we use the property website that's generated with every order in Spiro. We just customize that to be like a mobile portfolio that also shows the website. So you can send it over, it looks great. That's how we do it. Is it relatively easy to get a drone license? Yeah, I mean, it's just in the US, it's just a test you have to go take. There's an app you can get to study for it called Prepware Remote Pilot. It's like $5 and you can just take the tests on there. And then if you Google, there's a Tony and Chelsea Northrup video, Tony Northrup does it on how to get your Part 107. It's like 2 hours. You just watch that, practice, and then you just have to score an 80 or above on the test. And then once you get the test, you just apply for your license. Pretty simple. So when I did it, legitimately, I did it in a day. I watched that video in the morning. I watched it again on the way, and I passed the test in the afternoon. I am just not to sugarcoat it, I'm pretty good at taking tests. So most people have to study for a little bit longer than that, but it just depends on how good you are at taking tests. It's not that hard of a test. You just have to go suck up the information. A lot of it doesn't apply directly to the operations that you would do. It's just a lot of rules and stuff. You need to know them, but it's not like how to fly a drone and that kind of stuff. It's like airspace and different things like that.
I found a win comment, which I think is
fair,
honestly. She says, I went from only doing a few free shoots a month to finally making over 1K this month. Yes, it's a slow start, but it's intimidating and daunting, but it's not impossible. And I think like great job for taking those first steps for people. 1K is good. Great job.
Yeah, you get momentum, right? And how long have you? I went from only doing a few free shoots a month, finally making over 1K. Yeah, I mean, the thing I always encourage people to remember is, while we help people who put in the work accelerate their process in coaching, it took me way longer than it takes most of our clients to get there, right? And so everybody's roadmap is different. Now, granted, I didn't know what I was doing and I didn't have anybody to follow to do it. So I hope you all do it faster than me. And if you put in the work and you do the right things, you will, right? And so I think the biggest thing is just being consistent and making it happen. A lot of people don't ever start because they're too busy, too scared. They have a ton of excuses, right? I understand that. I had excuses. I have excuses for things that I know I should do but don't want to. And there's a quote I like, which is, courage is not the absence of fear. It's doing it anyway, despite your fear. And that's what it takes. Nobody knows what they're doing until they learn what they're doing, right? We all start out new. And so the people that are successful are the ones that, despite that, they just know that and start taking action. And yeah, I mean, ultimately, you're going to spend the time doing something. My take is always spend it doing something that could get you to where you want to go, right? And nothing's guaranteed. You still have to do the work. It's not a magic pill, any of this. Starting any business takes work. Let's see. Wow, you're active duty too. Congrats on making that happen. That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, it's you're leaning into. I like that you're leaning into the fact like everybody has something about them that people will appreciate. So people will appreciate your service. For everybody else, there's different things that they can appreciate. So you just got to share that. I love that you're leaning into that though. Nick said taking his drone test tomorrow. Good luck, Nick. You got this. Take it slow. You have a lot of time in there. It's not unlimited. I forget what it is. A couple hours at least. So just take it slow. Use the book that's in there that references everything. You know, like they talk about in the Tony and Chelsea video. There's an I forget what it's called, but it's the thing that explains what everything means on the map. So you can common sense your way through a lot of those questions. I think the rushing is where people fail. Hunter said, I literally just use that exact app to study, watch those videos Eli mentioned, and study sectional charts too. I crammed 7 to 10 hours and passed with an 87 just yesterday. Congrats, Hunter. Thanks for passing that on too. Let's see. Time is going to move into history. Might as well use the time you have to move forward. Yeah, I love that one, Dave. Is that a Dave quote, or did you get that from somewhere? Because I like it either way. Let's see. Correct. I can only do stills right now. I would like to eventually provide video, drone footage, and more. I don't want my current limitations hold me back from starting. Yeah, I mean, you can only start from where you are, right? Like, so if you decide to start now, Chris, you can only start with what you have. And so your other option is to wait. And I don't think waiting has ever really helped anybody ever. And so my advice is always like, it's interesting, especially with a big decision to start a business, but any big decision in your business, you're always going to feel like the timing isn't right. So I think what a lot of people do, myself included with many things that I wish I would have done sooner, is you think that it is going to feel different when the time is right. And granted, I understand sometimes there's things in life that you just got to do and you can't do it right now. But generally, it's never going to be like, wow, the sky's parted, perfect, clear timing, have all this time. Like that doesn't happen to most people. And so it's up to you to say, with the time I have, what can I get done? Even if that's a little bit of time at a time. And that goes to anything you're trying to do. It's not just starting a real estate media business. If you want to do anything new, if you want to learn a new skill, like you just got to use the time you have. And it's never going to be like, sometimes things perfectly line up. But if you wait for that, you're going to wait until you don't have any more time to wait. And I think a lot of people do that with anything. The app is called, I'll type it in the chat, Nick, Prepware Remote Pilot. It's a Google store and Apple store, I believe. And it's $5, I think. How important are 3D tours? I'd rather not buy more gear at this point. Nick, yeah, you can skip 3D tours for now. They're like probably the least popular add-on. I mean, you'll make money if you have a 3D tour camera and you have clients because people will order it. It's just not super high. Like you won't miss out on clients if you don't offer 3D, especially at the start. I
like what you said. I mean, use the gear that you currently have to pay for the rest of the gear that you want to buy eventually.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because the bigger point is resourcefulness, right? The way you build your business is not by getting resources and then using those to build your business, especially when it's your first business, right? It's about being resourceful to create the business that will create the resources. So a lot of people wait, and it's like, no, you have to be resourceful because that's where resources come from. That's why people start businesses, right? And I think it's just like flipping the script on like, okay, instead of thinking I can't make this happen, it's how could I make this happen? What would I have to do to make this happen? What would I have to give up to make this happen? Right? I think one of the bigger things that stops a lot of people from making anything cool happen is they're looking for like this easy, secret, passive nonsense. And I don't believe in any of that, right? I believe that if you want to build something good, it's going to take work, but you're going to spend the time doing something anyway. And I do not want to be the person that lets a short period of time relative to my life of putting in the work prevent me from the rest of it being something that I have something that provides for me. And so, yeah, I just think that that's something important to keep in mind. And it's really interesting. So we've helped a lot of people start businesses. And the most interesting thing to me is the people that have started like 4 or 5 different businesses in the past and they didn't go well. And almost always the time when that's the case, it's they bounce from like passive, get rich quick, blah, 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 to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. And it's so funny because that time that they spent trying to get rich quick, whatever that being, maybe it's just make money of any kind, is time that, instead of bouncing from all those quick things, if they just would have put the time into one thing that is more sure, it's just going to take work and it's not an overnight thing, they would have had the success. And so it's so interesting to me how that works. Anyway, kind of off topic, but hope that brought someone some value. turns out that if you want to build anything, you're going to have to put in work. Let's see. Yeah, starting now. I've got my own drones camera, motivated. I think we'll go ahead and schedule the test for next week. Nice. Yeah. One of the things I love to have people do is you just get the test on the schedule, because my guess is you will be ready by the time it comes, and that will help you. I'm a big procrastinator. And so my secret to getting a lot done, because I do get a lot done despite being a procrastinator, is I set deadlines that are soon. So if I don't want to do something, I just make a deadline and then I do it. I procrastinate up until the minute I need to do that. And then, when you're a procrastinator, like I think most people are, I think we try to say, oh, I'm a procrastinator. Everybody is. You all of a sudden, like the hour before anything needs to be done, whether it's a test in school or something for your business, you will get it done, right? Like it just always gets done. So I like to leverage that. Excited to have you in Nashville, Rod. We're doing like an impromptu team meetup while we're there. So we got our leadership team coming, Rod, our media guy, Isaiah. It's gonna be cool. Isaiah's also my brother. It sounds funny saying my media guy, Isaiah. He is my brother also. Let's see. What other questions you guys have? We still got at least 15 minutes to hang out. Anybody started recently? Anybody have any wins they want to share? That's a big thing we do in our coaching community, is have everybody share wins, because it helps motivate you. And sometimes it just pisses you off, frankly. You see someone winning, you're like, why am I not? And that feeling is okay. It motivates you to take action. So whether you get excited about it or irritated, either way, both those things can help you take action. I posted on Monday, gaslighting yourself into success, basically. I posted on Monday that I had a Monday, a typical Monday, right, for a lot of people. And I normally like Mondays and excited about the week, but man, this Monday I came into a huge pile of work, a million messages I had to respond to, a bunch of meetings. And I was like, this sucks a little bit, right? And so I want to share that, because sometimes that's just what owning a business is. And I know this session has been more focused on just doing the work and the suck side of it, but I think that's the truth of what it actually looks like. And so I share that because a lot of people are like, oh, like this isn't, every day is not super exciting. Like, yeah, that's what owning a business is, right? But and sometimes, the work to becoming successful isn't exciting. It's not a lot of times hard. It's just boring a lot of times. And so while the work to becoming successful isn't exciting, the success itself is. And so that's kind of where the balance is, if you ask me. Yeah, Kenny, you can put the link in the chat if you have it. I can grab it if you don't have it handy, but you always beat me to it. Workshop.
Oh yeah, I got you.
Yeah, so we're doing a beginner real estate photography workshop in Nashville it's this month. So it's May 31st and June 1st. It's the end of the month, 31st. So it's not two separate ones. It's in Nashville. It's going to be teaching real estate photography for beginners. So very hands-on. I will be there. Kenny will be there. Jared, Aaron, Rod on our team. Like we're going to put a team effort in, teach you hands-on how to shoot real estate photos. We've done, I think, 8 or 9 of these in the past, and they're always a blast. We've done in Charlotte, Las Vegas. Where else have we done? Miami, Boston. Where else have we done? We've done more than that. Texas, Dallas.
Yeah, this is our 8th one that we've done.
8th one, okay. So we're excited to meet. We have a good group coming. There's 20 tickets total. I think we have like 11 or 12 of them already reserved. So grab yours if you want it. We would have more, but we can't hands-on teach more than that, the 5 of us. So I guess there'll be the 6 of us too.
I'm excited about it. I think this one's going to be one of the best ones. We're going to have dinner at night before, all of us, like people coming. Next day,
cut out. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, talk a lot about business. It'll be great. Here's a win.
Thank you for, I'll grab that in 1 second. I just want to thank you for saying this, Aaron. Aaron is on our team, awesome guy. Specifically wanted to point out that you get to use the photos for your portfolio. So if you're a new real estate photographer, it's not only that you get to learn hands-on, you also get to use the photos that we help you shoot to jumpstart your portfolio. So if you can come to Nashville, do it. If you can't, don't worry. Let's see. Where's the question? Okay, yeah, Bo said 1 year in, 20 years old, already at 45K in 2024. Last month was 15K while being a full-time college student. Bo, shout out to you, dude. That's awesome. Hold on, I got to see what the monthly average is. What are we? January, February, March, April, May. So we're like 4.1 months in. So you have a higher than 10K average for every month this year. Congrats. And you're in college. How are your grades? Are you putting in the work, or are you just letting college go by like you should be, in my opinion? Anyway, let's see. How do you set up free shoots in Spiro? Yeah, you can just manually edit the price if you want to do that. Yeah, Mohammed, we'd love to have you in Nashville. I think you've already talked to Aaron, so you can ask Aaron for info on how to grab your ticket or go to that link above. We'd love to have you there. Rockout Media said, I finally bit the bullet and brought on an editor. Cheat code unlocked. I'm good at editing. They're great. What a time saver. 100%. Everybody that we coach, we teach editing, but we bury it and tell them not to do it unless they just really want to do it. Day one outsourcing. Dude, in the case study we have coming out, one of our clients we got to work with, very successful guy, and he didn't even have any editing software on his computer ever. Like has never edited. The only thing he has was like preview, so he could put in the lot lines. That was it, which is very fun. Like good example of what you should look at if you want to be successful. Things you should do. Darlene, what are they asking for? Because it depends on what they're asking for. If it's something we want to offer, I would tell them genuinely, like working on that. Just need to do some more shoots. So I can afford that and make it happen. But if it's something you don't want to offer, I would just tell them you're not going to offer it. Yeah, that's a good point, Aaron. A lot of people think, like, my take on starting a business is people are like, oh, I can't do it. I have a job. I'm like, well, so does everybody else probably, right? You have to do something. Like, unless you're just one of the lucky people that maybe has support from somebody else or whatever, like most people have to do it on the side. And so that's what I always recommend. I don't recommend anybody quit their job until they replace their income. That's a silly way to do it. It's pretty stressful. So it's like you can do it on the side, build it up until it replaces your income, and then decide to quit so you don't risk anything but your time and some money, right? It takes some money to start a business. You have to buy gear, that sort of thing. But generally, it's a pretty safe way to do it.
Nick, yes, for video editing as well, you should outsource that editing. I literally talked to a student yesterday who was spending 4 to 5 hours video editing, and so he had to turn down some jobs.
A day?
Yes.
Oh.
A day. 4 to 5 hours. So he could have used those 4 or 5 hours to get more clients or gotten shoots, honestly, and made money on top of that. So yes, outsource video editing as well.
Let's see. Oh dang, Bo, you got the GPA going pretty good too. That's what I was gonna say. I was waiting for you to be like barely scraping by, but we're still getting the degree. Isn't that the funny thing about college is you get the same degree no matter if you get like granted you could get honors and stuff like that, but it's just very funny.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, and no worries. I answer the same questions all day, and I love it because I wish I would have been able to ask questions and get mine answered. So I would happily answer yours. We recommend something called the Instagram method. So watch my videos on YouTube. I talk about it in different ways in a lot of them, but generally it's just reaching out to clients on Instagram and offering them a first free shoot in a pretty specific way. But watch my videos on YouTube. Let's see. I mean, if you don't have the gear, and you can't do video, you don't have a choice besides turning it down. I would recommend getting the gear as soon as you can, but I would just tell them honestly, like, hey, I don't offer that yet. It will be coming very soon. I'm still working on it or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah,
I gotta confess to everybody. So back when I was building Norman and Young, this is how I actually met Kenny in the first place years ago. Kenny and I have worked together, partnered on our video editing business for a long time, and it's been awesome. But back in the day, I still, business is something you always learn. And my businesses, despite doing a lot of revenue compared to a lot of businesses, are very small in the business world. And so I've gotten better at business, but I still have a lot to learn. But back in the day, I had even more to learn. And so I was running a business where we had 4 or 5 photographers doing, I don't know, somewhere probably north of $50K a month in revenue. And I was editing all of the videos, all of the real estate videos that we shot. And we didn't do that many. It's probably, I don't know, maybe like 9 or 10 videos a week, 8 to 12, depending on busy seasons. We didn't sell a lot of video because I didn't like editing them. So I would try to shy away from selling them. And so I was running a pretty good business, and I got my video editing times down so quick, dude. I could edit a video in like 30 minutes. And so I would lay in bed and I would edit the videos like an idiot. And so finally one night I was like, can't do this anymore. And so this is early in Kenny's business career. He was willing to edit videos, and I posted this thing in a real estate video group, and like 80 people applied. And Kenny was the one who got the contract to edit our videos. And so he edited our videos and then became full-time at the business when he crushed that. And then we partnered together, and now he's our CMO at REPP. That's who, wrong way. I knew I was gonna point the wrong way. It's reversed. That's who Kenny is. And he built our video editing business now, which is an awesome business. So don't edit your own videos.
I also outsource my video editing, I guess. And I have
we built a team, right? Yeah. Let's see. Where is a good spot to find editors to outsource to? For real estate, Pixel Mob is what I'd recommend. I'll put it in the chat, pixlmob.com. I have a video editor who does a great job. How would you handle when an agent wants multiple revisions? Yeah, I mean, you just handle it. You just send the revisions to the editor and get it done. Very common.
Also, just take note of like what the client is being picky about, so then you do it for them, or I guess don't do it for them next time you shoot for the agent. So
while you're doing that, I just try to take the lid off this sparkling water while it was already off. And so shout out to anybody who caught me going like, what the heck? Anyway, what other questions does everybody have? We're all fresh out, or all caught up. Fresh out is what I was going for. Yeah, Nick, we have our own internal video editing for clients as well. So that's typically what we recommend is rep video editing, but only for coaching clients. Let's see. Do you have the workshop online or live only? I mean, most of our training is online. Our coaching is online through Zoom and stuff like that, but we do in-person workshops occasionally. So this one is in-person only. Nick, if you can go though, we just, we try to create opportunities when we can to do in-person teaching, but like the vast majority of the people we've ever taught has been all virtual stuff. So you don't wait. Don't be like, oh, I missed it. Like, come if you can come. If not, don't sweat it. For detail, go for it. Can you start?
It's just quick answers. Like, no, we don't do any contracts for agents or anything. We don't try to overcomplicate it for them. Make it super
terms of service, but no contract.
Yeah.
Too many shoots, right? So like a busy solo real estate photographer will do like 3 to 4 shoots per day average. At my business, we do many times that every day. So that'd be a whole lot of contracts. So we just do terms of service. For detailed floor plans with measurements, do you outsource that too? Yeah, Michael, we use an app called Cubicasa, Cubicasa. It's like the industry leader in floor plans. And I will say there's not many things that feel like magic. Cubicasa feels like magic. You literally scan the house with your phone and it makes a pretty accurate floor plan. The measurements are not like always 100%. So like they don't use it for appraisal purposes, but they're very close. You can always come back and do measurements yourself too, which is a laser measure. But we don't
specifically don't use it on their listings. They use it just for marketing purposes.
Yeah. What do you think is going to be the next big service over the horizon for real estate media? I think videos. I mean, big picture wise, it's been photos, videos, 3D tours for a while. The newest thing was drone for a little bit, and then it was 3D tours. I think video is that right now. Past that, I don't really know, honestly, Dave. Do you suggest being a preferred photographer with Cubicasa? Yeah, we do it at Norman & Young, and it's been great. What else should we talk about? Any? We need to get some more wins in here. Anybody have some wins? There's been like a whole ton of them in our coaching group, but I want to know about you guys. Any good stuff happen in your business? Do you do anything cool? Anything like that? Let me find some wins that were recent. Let's see if there's any like fresh ones in coaching. Someone shot their 100th listing. Oh, it sucks when you can't read the names. We keep our coaching clients private. We don't want to blast their info everywhere. But our latest one is someone who just shot their 100th listing. So that's cool. Anybody have anything in here? Instagram profile set up nice. Passed my part 107 last week. That's a big one. Congrats, Darlene. Learned how to use my Ronin. Nice, Dave. Yeah, those things can be a pain. The funny thing with the Ronin is we used to do video workshops because that's like the easiest thing to teach in person, the hardest thing to teach not in person. Do you guys have coaching clients making websites or just Spiro? We typically don't recommend a website until you're doing more than 10K. So Spiro handles everything that you would need your website to do, scheduling, delivery, everything like that. And then Instagram acts as your front end. So we don't recommend it. We don't think, so like one of the things that we believe is true is successfully growing a business as fast as possible means that you're going to put off a lot of stuff that's low leverage. So our focus is like, hey, what's the one thing that we need to do that's going to be the best for the business at this point? Fix that. What's the next highest leverage thing? So there's a lot of things you can do as a business owner. And just in our opinion, there's not many that you should do. There's like very few if you want to kind of shortcut your path. So that's how we approach it. And that's why we don't recommend a website. Justin said $1,500 a week with 3 shoots. Nice, Justin. Solid week and also good average order value. $500 a shoot. That's pretty good. Nick said finally had a first paying gig. It's been super slow, but I have other seeds planted. Nice, Nick.
Nice.
When you first started, have you ever got away by using a smartphone that a client doesn't detect? Eric, for video, absolutely. A lot of the big companies will use smartphones for like their vertical walkthrough video. For photos, you won't really be able to take good ones with it. But it's not a problem if the client sees it. Like the editing is the special part. And that's why I recommend outsourcing it. A lot of real estate agents don't want to do their own stuff anyway. Oh, nice. Another 107 pass. Congrats. Well, on that note, thanks for hanging out today, everybody. Had a good time with you. It's always a fun chat on here. The group's getting bigger and bigger every live because it's becoming like a regular thing now. So that's fun. A lot of good questions and always fun to hang out with everybody. I like being around people who are trying to put in the work to make things happen. I think you probably feel the same way, Kenny. It's just different. Like I like people that are willing to do that. So fun hanging out with you as always. Hope you have a great rest of your day. We'd love to work with you in coaching. The link for that to apply and talk with the team. So Aaron, who was in here earlier, Rod, those are two of the guys that you'd be talking to. So we'd love to work with you in coaching, talk more about what that could look like for you, help you build a roadmap, that sort of thing. So we'll see you inside there. Have a great rest of your Thursday and week, and we'll see you very shortly. Bye.
Not a little.